The Boys is all about Billy Butcher and his team putting the beat down on superheroes that have it coming. There's no supe out there who's got it coming more than Homelander, and we think we know how it could go down. The first way that Homelander could be taken down would be to bypass attacking his invulnerable body altogether by going for his very, very vulnerable mind. So far, The Boys has parodied a ton of heroes from Marvel and DC. The 7 are all heavily based on the Justice League. Eagle the Archer is based on Hawkeye, and Homelander looks like if you put Superman and Captain America in a blender. While the franchise has done a great job covering most superhero tropes in a brutally realistic way, there's one major form of superhero the series really hasn't focused too much on: psychic characters. So far, the one who has had the most screen time has been Mesmer, but he got butchered pretty hard. We know that psychics like Mesmer exist, but we don't know how common they are. In the X-Men film franchise, one that The Boys really hasn't hit yet, there are a ton of psychics with incredible amounts of power. Using Cerebro, Professor X can connect to every single mind on the planet, and can even obliterate them. If there was a Professor X parody on The Boys, he would make short work of Homelander. Also, could he be played by Sir Ian McKellen doing an impression of Sir Patrick Stewart? Tell me that wouldn't be perfect. As we've seen several times throughout the series, Homelander is a bit unstable. Of course, that's just me being nice. He actually makes the Joker seem well-adjusted by comparison. And not even the Joaquin Phoenix misunderstood average guy Joker. No, he makes the too insane even by Jack Nicholson standards Jared Leto Joker seem like a nice guy. We've seen Homelander display some truly terrifying moments of mental instability over the course of the series. There was that time he freaked out on the plane and left all those people to crash into the ocean. Then there was the time he fantasized about lasering an entire crowd of protesters. Oh yeah, and then there's that super creepy way that he drinks milk. Seriously, I think I went a bit crazy after watching him drink from Stillwell's mini fridge. So if Butcher enlists a Professor X-style psychic, it would be almost no effort at all to utterly destroy Homelander's fragile mind. You can just imagine the psychic trapping Homelander in a fantasy world where everyone loves him all the time. Even if he had the option to leave that fantasy, he never would. Let's face it, if Homelander was trapped in the Matrix and had the option to take the red or blue pill, he'd take the blue pill and probably laser Morpheus into a puddle. You could also reverse that and trap Homelander in a nightmare of his deepest, darkest fears. You know all those times that Batman's trapped in some weird nightmare the Scarecrow made for him and has to navigate a labyrinth in his mind of his own deepest fears? Yeah, I can't imagine Homelander would do too well with that kind of thing. Honestly though, it probably wouldn't even take that much effort to obliterate Homelander's mind. He's a person who has likely never experienced any true physical pain in his entire life. If he merely activated his pain receptors, he'd probably have a full-blown mental breakdown like he was Captain Hammer from Dr. Horrible. Actually, now that I think about it, it was really dumb of Butcher to crush the life out of Mesmer. He could have taken out his archenemy so easily in so many twisted ways. Maybe Billy just really hated the Sixth Sense. The second way Homelander could be taken down is obvious: Black Noir. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else needs to be said, really. Look upon the face of pure evil and despair, Homelander. There is no hope for you here. If Billy and the boys can't manage to take down Homelander, it's possible that the girls could get the job done. Okay, so we all watched and adored Season 2, but there's one scene that I know all of you have rewatched 60 times already. That is, of course, the infinitely satisfying beatdown of Stormfront by Maeve, Kimiko, and Starlight. In fact, let's watch a little bit of it together right now. You're welcome. Well, it was one of the best moments from Season 2 and a hilarious takedown of the similar scenes in both Infinity War and Endgame. It actually does raise a valid point about heroes like Stormfront or Homelander. Neither one of them can actually fight. See, Stormfront did really well during most of the season, using her incredible powers to overwhelm pretty much everyone she came across. When you're invulnerable and you can shoot lightning out of your fingers, it turns out that it's really hard to actually take you down. I mean, it took like 9 movies for them to finally get rid of Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. The second Stormfront had to go up against Kimiko, Maeve, and Starlight, though she got beaten up harder than I did the last time I tried to play Super Smash Bros. Online. Apparently, it turns out that a crazy German superhero academy, they didn't have any lessons on how to properly throw hands. Unfortunately for her, Queen Maeve went to the Wonder Woman school of teeth-breaking right hooks. The season went to great lengths to show that Homelander and Stormfront were pretty close to each other power level-wise. While it's clear that Homelander was still the more powerful of the two, it seems very possible that he could be taken down in a similar fashion. Though I think it would take more than the three of them to do it. For the most part, Homelander relies on his laser vision to do most of the heavy lifting in a fight. That's not surprising considering A, he's lazy, and B, those lasers can pretty much cut through anything. So any group that wanted to take on the world's #1 hero would have to be able to withstand or at least dodge his signature attack. They'd also have to be more diligent about making sure that the person they're attacking doesn't fly away before they pound him into a puddle. Luckily, Homelander wears a cape, and Edna-Mode from The Incredibles has made it very clear how stupid of an idea capes are. If they could keep Homelander in the zone of pain long enough, it's unlikely that he'd be able to do anything to fight them off. So how could Billy and the gang get Homelander to take on a squad of heroes who were powerful enough to pound him into the dirt? Well, all they'd really have to do is turn his own squad against him, and that would pretty much do it. If they were able to turn public opinion against Homelander or frame him as a supervillain who needed to be taken down, the Seven should be all too happy to bring their former leader to justice. In retrospect, antagonizing your entire team of comparably powerful superheroes may not have been the best idea. Starlight could initially blind Homelander while Maeve and Deep come in close to start pounding him into submission. If Homelander starts to get the old glowy eyes, then A-Train could move his teammates away while Starlight burned his eyes with another blast of light. Ultimately, it's doubtful that Homelander could withstand punishment from the rest of them for too long. This guy's never been in a real fight in his life. It's likely that he'd give up pretty much the second things didn't go his way. Even if Homelander was able to get free of them, we've already covered how the final member of the Seven could pick up the slack. Ugh, Black Noir. He haunts my nightmares. All of this is probably completely and utterly unnecessary, though. As far as plans for taking down Homelander go, you just know that Edgar has contingencies in place, just in case Homelander goes off the reservation. Go back and look at that scene where Homelander tries and utterly fails to stand up to Edgar in his office. That is the face of a man who is exactly 0% scared of supposedly the most powerful being on the planet. That means he definitely has ways of taking Homelander down. The most obvious way is that he's constructed something that Homelander would be weak against. If Homelander's supposed to be a parody of Superman, then that means it's highly likely that Edgar has some sort of kryptonite for Compound V. Knowing the boys, though, it probably won't be a glowing rock. They already parodied this idea with Black Noir in Season 2, where they showed his very real weakness, his nut allergy. It also seems a lot like Vought is playing around with babies with Homelander powers. We saw in Season 1 that Butcher used a baby's heat vision to get out of a jam. It's very possible that Edgar is trying to breed new Homelanders to take down the Homelander that he already has. Hopefully they put a little bit more effort into raising these kids. Otherwise he's gonna have to get a whole third army of Homelanders to take down this other army of Homelanders. He might not have to work quite that hard at it, though. You see, Homelander himself has already done the work for him. We found out this season that Homelander's son Ryan has some pretty incredible powers. Over the season, Homelander tries to teach his son how to use them, as well as he does, with limited success. Despite his father's flawed teaching technique, Ryan does show himself to be pretty powerful. He even manages to use his laser vision to fry Stormfront into looking like a charred-up Anakin Skywalker. Even Homelander's heat vision wasn't able to pull that off. It's entirely possible that Edgar had Ryan stashed away, just so he could use the boys' enhanced powers to take down his father. I said the boys. It's the name of the show. Regardless of what particular super weapon Edgar has at his disposal to take down Homelander, you know that he has a warehouse full of weapons designed just for that purpose. I'm honestly surprised Butcher has never thought of this before. You could easily see a scene where the boys go to this place and act like kids in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, trying out enhanced guns and eating sonic weapons. The montage of carnage just writes itself. Oh, wait, no, the other factory was edible. Don't eat sonic weapons. For my money, though, I really hope that Edgar was working on some sort of Iron Man-style mech suit for himself that Butcher could possibly wear. I mean, speaking of scenes that write themselves, imagine Butcher taking on Homelander in a sequence that perfectly parodies the fight from Batman v Superman. There are all sorts of ways that Butcher could take down Homelander, but ultimately, you really just want to see him wail on Homelander in a big ol' superhuman fight, which inevitably leads me to what could be the true game changer that Vought is working on: instant Compound V. Right now, Compound V is a substance that children take at a developmental stage to give them some sort of random superpower. Well, that is an achievement on its own. Think of how successful Vought could be if they could make a version that gave someone instant superpowers. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you just steal an idea from Project Power? Well, you know what, Internet? Yeah, I did. Imagine how ironic it would be if Butcher had to take Compound V and become one of those supes that he hates so darn much just to take down Homelander. What do you think his superpower would be? I think it would be the ability to form the perfect insult that breaks a person's spirit forever. He's like 90% of the way there already, so that's not that big of a stretch. And there you have it, all the ways that Homelander could get taken down. How do you guys think Homelander will get his in the end? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content from CBR. As always, thanks so much for watching.